Guys, on this channel, we talk about budget. We talk about a lot of knives, but we talk a lot about budget knives that I think are big bang for your buck. But there is a category of knives that there are a few standouts that are still good knives, and that's cheap knives. We talked about one before, which was the cold steel kudu, which is a great knife. But we're going to look at three knives that are under $20 that are absolutely amazing. So let's turn this around and take a look at cheap knives that I recommend. All right, guys, like I said in the intro, we're going to talk about three knives that I absolutely cheap knives that I absolutely recommend. And the first one are any of the Opinels. Now, this is my Opinel number 6. This actually, you can tell by looking at it, it gets a lot of use. This is a great little knife. These Opinels are a great one because they're light. They will fit in a pocket nice and easy. They're extremely thin, so that means they're easy to sharpen, easy to maintain, and they slice really well. They come in stainless steel versions and carbon steel. I prefer the carbon steel, even though they are prone to a little bit of corrosion. They do patina up over time, but they take a very good edge. These are nice to have in a pack. If you're a camper, you can use this for food tasks. It locks closed, it locks open. It's a very simple mechanism. The beechwood handles are really nice and light. They're pretty much impregnable to anything you would want. You can customize these on your own, which is one of the really cool factors. And it's pretty hard not to get a good one. These are done in France. You can pick these up relatively cheap. I think the last time I looked, well, hang on a second, I'll tell you an actual price. So that's what I thought. These are $16, and I think that the number 8, which is a larger version, is still only like $17. So not at all expensive. They won't break the bank, but they're a great little knife to have around for doing some cutting tasks. Like I said, really nice slicer, easy to sharpen, easy to maintain. And there's not a lot that can go wrong with these. So it's just a nice little knife to throw in a toolbox or a tackle box or a glove box. So you just have got something if you need a knife. And plus, they're really comfortable. All the Opinels are really comfortable. They've got really good shaped handles. So it's a really good knife if you're just looking for something budget that is absolutely going to perform every time. So there you go. Opinel, any of the Opinels, all of them are a very good choice. So let's move on to the next one. And it's a Higo no Kami. Now, Higo no Kamis are made in Japan. The actual Higo no Kami, which this is, there's only one guy still making this exact one. You're going to get with these exact markings. But these are very simple little knife. It is like a friction folder. It doesn't have a lock mechanism to speak of. It's got this little tab that you hold your thumb on it, but they are incredibly good. They take a nightmare sharp edge, and you can do a lot of things with this. These are one of those knives that you can have around, and it's a really cool little nice knife. Sometimes it's a piece that people will be like, hey, what is that? They're really popular in Japan. These things just lay around everywhere. Now, Higos are going at about, for price point, the $20 mark, you'd say. I've seen them as much as like 23. Sometimes you'll find them for 15. They come in a bunch of different sizes. But the reason I say that this is one I would jump on is because the guy that makes these is the last member of the guild that makes these. It was an imperial started guild. He's the only person that is legally allowed to license these as Higo no Kamis. He's a very old gentleman, but they're in laminated steel. Very good laminated steel, by the way. This is Hitachi Gold or Hitachi Blue, I can't remember. But I mean, a very simple design. But it's also a design that's not going to fail. You can get a little leather slip. You can carry this in your pocket. These things are awesome. They'll patina well over time because they are just a little brass. There's different, like I said, different sizes, different versions. Now you can get ones that are very similar to this that aren't marked the same, but I just have this, I'm enamored with the history of this knife and everything about it. So not only does it have all the markings, it has the maker's mark and everything on it. So you can find these on Amazon. I think you can find them on Blade HQ. I'm going to put links to the knives you see here today up so that you guys can go purchase them if you want. But this is just a lot of fun. It's a really cool piece of history. And once that guy dies, you're not going to get any more of the actual Higo no Kamis. Now, that's not, like I said, there are a bunch of different people that make this style knife. So there you go. Higo no Kami. Now let's move on to the final one, which is not a brand specific. I picked this one up off an Instagram ad. You can get these in a lot of places. And this is just simply a folding scalpel holder. So it's like a, or like, I don't know what you want to call it, like a hobby knife. It fits most knives that have the slot on it that fit like this. So you don't have to be stuck with this number 24 blade, but it's really, I'm surprised at how much I like this. You put it on your keychain, and it's nice to have a nice, slim little blade. The blades are replaceable. They're always, always sharp when you get them. This knife has cut me more times than any knife I own. This one's done in a slip joint fashion. There are some that are flippers and lockers and things like that. But any of these, I'll try to find one similar to this and put a link to it. But it is nice to have something like this for doing small work that you're afraid you might, there's things that you don't want to do with your pocket knife, and this is nice to have around. And the fact is, you can simply lift up on this. I have a set of hemostats to do this with, but you simply replace the blade. It's just simply a scalpel blade in a holder. So these things are really nice to have. You can get the blades fairly cheap to replace them with. It's got a lanyard on it. These are not something to pass up. They're kind of cool to have around for doing things. You can scrape things with this. If you're cutting out parts out of a modeling kit, you can use this for doing, hobby tasks, opening cardboard boxes. This would be something I wouldn't be afraid to carry, even in a workplace where they frown on knives. This really isn't a knife. This is more along the lines of a replaceable blade box cutter, which there's a lot of options of that around. But yeah, absolutely recommend picking one of these up. They're not going to break the bank. Like, I think I paid $15 for this one. But they're easy to find. They're relatively affordable. And it's just one of those things that you've got, and then you never have to sharpen it because you got the spare blades for it. So there you go, guys. That was 3 cheap knives, not just budget, but on the cheap realm. Nothing here on the table was more than $20 that we saw. So really cool, really fun. Let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day. Guys, there you go. Those were 3 cheap knives, not just budget, but cheap knives I'd absolutely recommend. And I think the Opinel series is the ones that I would recommend the most out of the 3. There's a lot of really cool removable blade stuff. Some of them have locks and stuff like that. But just for an overall knife, I love these knives. I think this is the 3rd one of these that I've owned, the number 6. I also own a number 8 and a number 10. Or it goes the other way. I can't remember which is the bigger the number or smaller number. At any rate, awesome all around knife. So there you go, guys. That's it. If you want to support the channel, I am asked by YouTube to remind you guys, they tell us all the time, super thanks is a way you guys can kind of drop a tip on a video that's pre-recorded. You guys know you can do super chats in videos. But super thanks. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about other channels as well. If you like their content, just let them know. It's just a way of letting them know, hey, I really appreciate that. Every little bit counts as a content creator, and we definitely appreciate it when you guys do it. Other ways you can do it. I've got sponsors down below, Coffee Brand Coffee, Tempered Trail. Links are have built-in discounts to them. Coffee Brand Coffee is my prime sponsor, but also Tempered Trail. Nathan is doing a lot of really cool stuff. He has almost indestructible laces for hiking boots, athletic shoes, things like that. You pick your size and you can pick your color. Coffee Brand Coffee, freshly roasted on demand coffee with no politics. I also have got an Amazon store down below. You can take that link, pin it to your browser, do any shopping you do with Amazon through that. But the best way to do it is with my membership. It's all tier-based. Everyone gets access to my Discord server, which is done on Gilded. It's not actually Discord. Everyone has access to that. Everyone gets early access to videos. Everyone gets exclusive content. Baseline and premium members are entered into giveaways that I do there. And the premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series that's here on YouTube behind that paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.